Dear students, in this video, we'll start with the structure of sperm. So as in the last video, we have gone through spermatogenesis, the process of formation of sperm. After the formation of sperm, how the sperm is looking to be. So the structure of sperm is also very important. It is also asked for 5 marks sometimes. Its diagram is a very important one. So I am going to draw it and explain so the structure of a sperm over here, right? And these sperms are male gametes which are motile in nature, is the unique nature. So but the female gamete is not being motile in nature. In case of human being, it is a static in nature, right? So let us see the diagram of this sperm, right? So sperm has three major parts. First one is the head part, and second one is middle piece, and third one is tail part. So like this, three major parts that we can make, and very narrow neck is also present over here, and I shall show so that one in diagram in detail, and what are there in the neck portion, so what is there in the head portion, what is there in the middle portion, middle piece, as well as the tail, all these details structure of sperm. So let us start now, right? So the structure of sperm. So see here the head part. This is how the head portion is present. And this is the narrow neck portion that we come across over here. Neck portion. And it is followed by the middle piece. And a middle piece is followed by the tail, which is responsible for the motility of the sperm itself, right? This is the tail. Okay. In the initial part, the tip portion of the sperm head part itself, there we come across acrosome. What it is called as? Acrosome. Acrosome. The tip portion is called as. And so the maximum portion of the head is uncovered with a large nucleus present within it. Nucleus region, right? And in the neck portion, you will come across two centrioles over here. One centriole is called as proximal centriole. What it is known as? Proximal centriole. And the second one is called as distal centriole. Distal centriole are the two centrioles that we come across over here. And this portion itself is said to be as middle piece, and this portion itself is called as neck portion, right? Neck portion, this is called as middle piece. In the middle piece, very unique thing that you are going to learn, that is a spiral shaped mitochondria that you come across over here. A spiral shaped mitochondria that you come across over here. This is more important feature to be remembered. Okay, and this is what the tail portion. In the tail portion, there we come across the initial portion of the tail itself, this portion up to this portion, this tail itself is said to be as main piece. Main piece, this portion is called as. and this portion itself is said to be as end piece. In tail itself we make two parts. So first one is the initial part of the tail itself is said to be as the main piece, and the end portion itself is called as end piece. What is the difference between these two? Later in the explanation we will see ourselves, right? So now this is the head portion, right? This is the head portion, and this is middle piece, and this is tail portion, tail. So like this, there are three major parts of the sperm that we can see over here. So its explanation, its related explanation I am going to give over here in detail, right? So let us start with the explanation. The first point. So it is divided into head as well as neck as well as middle piece as well as tail itself and tail itself. These are the major portions of this sperm. One by one I am going to explain over here, and you go on noting down all the points related with this sperm, right? So the head mainly consisting of acrosome, the tip portion of the head mainly consisting of acrosome, and this acrosome is nothing but it is the largest lysosome. It is the largest lysosome which makes the acrosome, right? So this acrosome is the largest lysosome, and this lysosome itself containing what? Hydrolytic enzymes. Hyaluronidase are the hydrolytic enzymes that we come across in acrosome. What is the major function of acrosome is it helps in dissolution of or dissolving the wall of the egg cell during fertilization. What happens over here? I am going to show over here. This is what? Egg cell. This is egg cell on which I hope you are not seeing over here. So this is an egg cell. So on which many number of sperms that come across, right? And these sperms, so any one of the sperm fertilizes this egg cell. So this wall of the egg cell, since it is containing very hard homogeneous layer, in the previous class we have learnt that is zona pellucida is there and corona radiata is there. They are very hard layers, so as to dissolve zona pellucida, especially hyaluronidase is the enzyme what is present inside this acrosome would help for that one, right? So this sperm head, the tip portion mainly consisting of acrosome, that consisting of, so what? The hyaluronidase is the enzyme, hydrolytic enzyme that dissolves the wall of the egg cell by any one of the sperm, so that it is helpful for fertilization, right? So this is about the acrosome. How this largest lysosome is formed? So what is it formed from? The question arises in NEET examination. There might be so possibility of asking this one, and this largest lysosome which is formed from the spermatid. This spermatid containing what? Lysosome. That lysosome forms the acrosome during sperm formation, right? So spermiogenesis. During spermiogenesis, acrosome is formed from the largest lysosome present in the spermatid, right? This point is noted, very important point. Come to the next part of the head. So that contains mainly the large nucleus. It contains large nucleus, and that nucleus is containing haploid number of chromosomes, remember. So nucleus contains haploid number of chromosomes in it, because sperm is haploid in nature, gamete is haploid in nature, right? So this is point to be noted. and much portion of the head is uncovered with large nucleus. This point is also noted over here in the third step, right? And the next one, head is followed by a narrow, very small neck portion. Very small neck portion that we come across, and in this neck portion towards the nucleus there present the proximal centriole. Towards the nucleus there present the proximal centriole, and towards the middle piece, so starting point of the middle piece, there another centriole is there, a distal centriole. The function of these two centrioles are very important one. Note down the point. So this proximal centriole, what it helps for is, it helps for the first cleavage, or so you don't know what is cleavage now. So imagine yourself the zygote is formed, that is containing what? To a number of chromosomes, and this zygote undergo what? The continuous mitotic division. In the first video I have explained this one, and that continuous mitotic division of the zygote itself is called as cleavage. So the first cleavage, what happens over here is, this undergo first cleavage, means two cells it forms, and these two cells, whatever they are formed, they are called as blastomeres. That is immaterial. See here, this zygote undergo mitotic division. For mitotic division, what is needed? Centriole is needed. What is the use of centriole in mitotic division? Formation of the very important one. So this is one centriole, this is another centriole. What are formed over here? Spindle fibers are formed over here for carrying the chromosomes. What are formed? Spindle fibers are formed. See here, this is centriole, from one centriole to another one. What are formed over here? There the formation of spindle fibers take place, so that carry the chromosomes very easily. So these spindle fibers are formed because of the centriole, that is proximal centriole. During the first zygotic division or first cleavage, it is called as. Note down the point. Proximal centriole helps in the first cleavage. During the first cleavage, that is nothing but mitotic division of the zygote. First mitotic division of the zygote is called as first cleavage. This is more important point to be noted. So this is the function of what? Proximal centriole. Very important one for NEET examination. What about the distal centriole? It is lying towards the middle piece, the starting point of the middle piece, it is present, and this distal centriole helps for the formation of what? So that is very important point to be noted. So as you know, flagella structure, right? So axoneme, the word you might have remembered there. So axoneme you might have remembered in the flagella. There you will come across from the centriole, there is axoneme is formed. What it is called as? Axial filament it is also called as. See here, this distal centriole is going to form what? The axial filament. See here, many microtubules that forms this axial filament that continues inside even the tail portion up to the end of what? Up to the end of the starting part of the tail called as main piece. Up to the end of the main piece. So this axial filament, it is called as axial filament. Axoneme I had explained, you might have remembered. So then distal centriole helps for the formation of axial filament. So across this middle piece as well as main piece of the tail, up to the end of main piece of the tail, it continues. And after this one, come to the middle piece part. So neck portion is over, middle piece. and this middle piece is present after the neck, means it is followed by the neck, and this middle piece mainly consisting of circular mitochondria or spiral shaped mitochondria, right? It contains spiral shaped mitochondria, not circular, please. So spiral shaped mitochondria it consisting of, and this mitochondria is the powerhouses of the cell. It is called as it is called as powerhouses of the cell. It helps in production of the energy, and that energy is utilized by the sperm for its motility. Point to be noted, very important one. So that's why spiral shaped, what is present? Mitochondria is present. And at the end of the middle piece, you will find there is circular, one unique region that you find here. So, and that unique region itself is ring centriole. What is this called as? Ring centriole. And we don't know what is the major function of this ring centriole. So this ring centriole, what is the use of that one? We don't know. It is also called as annulus, right? Its function is unknown to us. Anyway, it is also present at the end region of the middle piece, and middle piece mainly consisting of what? Spiral shaped mitochondria, and you will find what? The ring centriole itself. And the next important point is noted over here. What is that? The distal part of the nucleus or the head portion and the middle portion is covered with a sheath, a specialized sheath. It is covered with up to the end of the middle piece, and this region itself is called as manchete. What it is called as? This sheath itself is called as what? Manchete. Very important point you must remember over here. This is a special sheath that uncovers the remaining half portion of the nucleus part, or the half portion of the head part, as well as the middle piece it uncovers, and that sheath is called as what? Manchete, right? This is more important point to be noted. Next one, come to the tail. Tail itself is responsible for the motility of the sperm into the vagina, as well as uterus, as well as even the fallopian tubes, right? I had shown this one in the previous class, right? And this tail itself, so whip-like structure, right? That has two portions. One is called as main piece. The initial portion is called as main piece, and the terminal portion itself is called as the end piece. What is the difference between main piece as well as the end piece? You might have observed over here. So here you come across axoneme or axial filament that you come across in the initial part of the tail up to here, right? And the region where the axial filament is present, so there axial filament is uncovered with a thin cytoplasm. It is uncovered with the cytoplasm up to what? Up to the end piece, right? In the main piece you will come across cytoplasm. In the end piece there is a naked axoneme or naked axial filament is present over there. That is end piece of the tail. This is the only difference between the main piece as well as the end piece of the sperm itself, right? So this is all about what? This is all about the sperm itself. Things I have explained now, so you have followed, I hope, right? Try to note down each and every point over here, and so try to draw very perfectly the structure of human sperm. So usually it is asked in the examination. Thank you.